Okay, so today I'm going to modify this little wall charger. It's for these little 18650 batteries that go in these drills. Now, I believe this is like a 1300 milliamp hour cell, and so here we have this charger is rated for 4 volts and 2200 milliamp hours. So we're talking about maybe a 4 to 5 hour charge time recharging this. I have modified something like this before, but I lost it, and what I ended up doing is buying an extra battery. I bought an extra one of these, so I have a spare, so while I'm using one is in the charger. But for whatever reason, if this doesn't get back into the charger, you need a battery somewhat rather quickly. So before, when I only had one, I made this modification and I was able to charge this battery in a little bit less than an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same modification here again, so bear with me. The bottom of this takes some security hex. It's almost like a T10 bit, but it has a center post to where you can't use a regular T10. You can normally use a small flathead screwdriver and kind of brute force your way in there. So we have a circuit board under here, and so just by looking at the top of it, you see there's 2 metal contacts in there. So I'm looking for those metal contacts on the bottom of the board, and so here we have 2 contacts right here, and I'm thinking all I would have to do is just solder some wires onto these 2 points and run it out somehow. Either run it out the same way that the input is coming in, or just route it in a way to where it's a nice clean installation. So I'm actually just going to confirm this with my voltmeter. I'm just put a cell in there and get one of my voltmeters out. This on 20 volt. So we got 4.14 volts. So it seems like those 2 tabs are addressing the cell directly. So that's where I want to solder my wires. Now I'm just looking at where I can actually have them come out. I believe the last one I had it coming out the side, like on this side right here. So I'm just looking here to see if I can find a safe routing. It appears the other side, because I'm looking to avoid the traces, so when I run the wire out that is unimpeded, so that sorry, that's a battery that I'm testing for my headphone upgrade over here. Yeah, over here we have these traces with the spikes, with some through-hole components with spikes and everything. I want to avoid that, so I'm going to have the wires coming out this side over here. And I figured the best way to do this is to put everything back together and see there's a little slot or a groove right here. I don't recommend doing this. I would just rather get a drill or something and drill it out, but my soldering hours are pretty much throwaway for the most part, so I'm just we're going to use my soldering iron to create a little hole, and that's all that's needed. So whenever I go to route my cables through, they'll be going through that hole. Just double checking, make sure. make it a little bit bigger. Checking it. Alright, so when I put it back together, there's a nice little hole that I can fish the wires through. So let me get all this gunk off my soldering iron here. So the wires that I'm going to attach are going to be some silicone wires. I just kind of have scrap stuff laying around. Have an old balance tap that I'm going to use, at least for the negative at least. Trim that off. I'm going to just tin the leads here. And the wire doesn't have to be that big because, like I said, these cells can get easily overwhelmed. So this little silicone wire can easily handle 1 or 2 amps if I need to go that high. But like I said, I'm aiming for about an hour charge time, and that wire should handle those 1 or 2 amps that I need. Now I'm gonna just go to the board right here and beef up these traces a little bit, and I'm just trying to get a decent amount of solder on it, so when I apply the wire, it'll just easily wick on there. So I have one of them done, and I'm gonna try to stay true to the polarity of this. So let me just confirm if this trace right here is positive or negative. Alright, so that trace is negative, and I have a piece of black wire, so that's perfect. So let me go ahead and get this secured down. Does it want to reflow now? There we go. Come on, there we go. All right. So I hate doing this sometimes because you think you got it tacked down and it's still liquid. So I got that one done, and so what I want to do now is get a piece of red wire. Open up a new pack right here. I like the tins for my leads. I tend to use like balance cables. These have like 14-inch leads on them, so if I'm just doing small stuff like this, it's a good wire, high temperature rating. I mean, it's a perfectly good waste of a balance cable, but I've had this for like 2 or 3 years. I bought like 5 packs, and I still got like 2 or 3 of these left. So go ahead and trim that. Get it stripped. Tin the lead. I have helping hands, but my helping hand is currently holding my web camera right now. So it's already helped out. Tin these leads right here. Alright, so I got that tin, and I'm going to just add some more solder to this down here. Alright, so that looks like it's ready to go. So I got my two wires soldered right here, so they're ready to come out. And I really don't have to worry about this back feeding because there's a diode in line with these poles, so it shouldn't back feed out to the plug. And I know this because if I put a battery in here, normally if it was back feeding or something, this LED would light up, but it doesn't do that. So this mod is perfectly safe. And so what I'm going to do right now is close everything back up and kind of route everything through that small hole there that I created. Okay. Just trying to get everything lined back up. Alright, so we look good right there. Putting the screws back in. So the good thing about this is, you know, I still can use the AC cord to charge it, slow charge it, but I also have an option where I can, I guess you would call it DC fast charge. Just as cars, you know, they can plug into AC and it takes a rather long time or whatever, but for the cars that have the DC fast charge, they can dump so much more power a lot quicker into the battery. Now, this is the cells that are in these things are high rate discharge cells, so they can take the charge. It's just the manufacturer wants to be ultra conservative to get more cycles. I'm really not concerned with the cycle count on these because I charge these things like maybe every third or fourth day. So, and the batteries aren't hugely expensive. So, but you know, definitely sometimes you needed a battery yesterday. And the thing about these cells will let you know when you're overpowering them, because whenever you're charging and you see the voltage skyrocket automatically to 4.2, that means you're punishing the cells a little bit too hard. So you want to back off of them a little bit, because that, you know, I'm using this thing to achieve like somewhat near almost like 5C charge rating. Oh, well, not 5C, but if they're 1300 cells, then obviously you're pushing them quite hard. At even 1 amp, you're pushing them quite hard. So I think I've done 2 or 3 amps, so that'll be 2 to 3C discharge. So now we have these two leads right here. I'm going to just trim them off evenly and then re-tin this positive. And there's many connectors that you can use, but since this will be interfacing directly with my RC charger, I'm going to use 4mm bullets. I'm still going to tin this lead, even though I'm putting in a 4mm bullet connector. I'm still going to tin the wire on this, so that whenever I insert it into the bullet connector, it'll go into the connector a lot quicker. So looks like alright, so I got that tinned. Put this up. So I'm gonna get have a vise somewhere. Here we go. Here's my vise. Butane torch. So that's one done. So all I have to do right now is put some heat shrink on these, and they'll be ready for the charger. Alright, so I'm just taking the easy way out using a cigarette lighter to put heat shrink on this wire. Roll it in my fingers a little bit to get it tighter on that wire. The gauge of heat shrink that I have is too big for the actual gauge wire that I use. So got the negatives done, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this positive. Same for this one. Alright, so this is technically done. So what we would do is, I'll just give you a side profile. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's functional and it does what I need for it to do. So what we're gonna do is you plug this into the charger first, and then you set your battery in there. And so when you plug it into the charger, what happens is like the charger senses something there and then it kind of pulls away. It senses something and pulls away. That's when nothing is on it. But when you put this on the charger, then it sees the full voltage and then you can start your charge program. Now if you put this in, these are live with the battery voltage of this. So if I put this in there like that and I were to touch these together, you would get a spark. That's the only bad thing about this. You can kind of get around that by using another connector other than 4mm bullets and just kind of have some connector changer. Still have 4mm bullets going through the charger, but have it change over to a different connector like Anderson's or something. I believe I had that set up before, and everything should work fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this and everything, and go ahead and put it on the charger to show how this operates. Alright, so here's the modified charger on another charger, and you see that it's initializing the pack, or it's initializing something, and then it like disconnects and initializes and disconnects. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the battery in the charger, and you see that it automatically comes up to 4.13, which is the voltage of this cell. So let me go ahead and see if I can charge this battery up. So I have it charging on 1S, 3.7 volts, 1S, 2 amps. And on my charger, I got to set it to not balance, or it's going to request for there to be a balance cable connected. Since this is one cell, you can get away with this. So, are you sure you want to run? Yes. So, if we're looking at the right side, and so it's topping off the battery, and there isn't much to put back in there, but it is possible to charge a battery like this on an RC charger doing a modification that took maybe 10 minutes to do, and you can charge this battery up to 2 to 3 amps and get back up and going a lot quicker than if you were to use the stock charger. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.